Okay, wait, does that sound good? Can you guys hear me? Actually, wait, I can answer my own question. Okay, cool. Also, where the fuck is the background music? Oh, wait, is it? No, that's not it. Where the fuck did the... Oh. Cool. I guess I've had the background music muted on this screen for an ungodly amount of time. All right, back to the just chatting screen so we can start this for real, actually. Hello, everyone. Actually, wait, what's up, watchers? That's what I'm trying to say now. It's corny, but it's my saying, and I'm sticking with it. What's up, watchers? I hope you all had a great long weekend. I mean, it was a long weekend for Canadians. I don't know if it's a long weekend anywhere else, but I hope you had a weekend. I hope you had a good weekend. I mean, of course you had a weekend, but I hope you had a good one. So anyways, technical difficulties aside, I swear to God, my computer, the second that it detects that I'm streaming, goes, hey, we have to find some way to fuck this up. We have to find some way to fuck this up immediately. So that's fun. So let me just say hi to everyone. Hello, Logan. Hello, Life. Hello, Tomato Cat. Welcome to the stream. And today, a long-awaited sequel. Admittedly, it may not be as long as I would have wanted it to be, because right now, where I live, it is hot. It is hot as balls. I think... I mean, I checked the weather, but, let me just look. Okay, so it's saying that it's like 27 degrees out, but with humidity, it feels like 35. This is in Celsius. I believe 35 degrees, Celsius. I mean, let me just do the calculation real quick. For all of my American viewers. I'm gonna do Celsius to Fahrenheit. So, let's say 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but you gotta remember that a lot of that is, it's humidity. There are times in the summers where the humidity can go up to, like, 70, 80%, and it fucking sucks. It's awful, and you need an air conditioner to live. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Technology, sometimes it's the best thing ever. Sometimes it's the best thing ever. Other times you want to chuck it into a lake. Very, very true. And now I'm also going to blame, the heat and my technological problems on, I mean, I'm going to use that as, like, a scapegoat for why my brain isn't working today, which is also why I can't fucking talk, apparently. I swear to God. Like, okay, today started off weird for me. Because, okay, so I've been sleeping it a little bit, you know, being unemployed will do that to you. I tend to get a little bit, nocturnal whenever I'm not working. So, I woke up today, it was a little after 10. Like, not as nocturnal as I could be, because I'm trying to work on it, but whatever. So, I wake up, and I see that I have a missed call, and I'm like, oh, fuck, like, it's not telling me, like, the business that it's from, it's not telling me, like, who it's from at all. It's an unknown number, but it looks like it's in my town. So, I'm like, oh shit, like, I applied to a place that's, like, pretty close to me. What if that's them getting back to me for an interview? So, I'm looking online, I'm trying to figure out who this phone number is. Can't find any information. All that I find is confirmation that it is a number from my town. And so I try calling them back. First call doesn't go through because it's busy. Second call, turns out they don't have an answering machine, and it just rings until eventually the call disconnects. So I'm pretty sure it was a telemarketer, but that already, like, started off my day on such a weird note that I've just been, like, I've been unable to focus on jack shit today. Like, I was working on my schedule. I think I started working on my schedule at, like, noon, but because I kept getting distracted. I mean, when did I actually post it? Oh, also, I've been working on a Tumblr, to replace the Twitter. Oh god, I posted it at 3:30. It's because I keep getting distracted and doing other shit. So, yeah. Fortunately, we are playing a game today that will not lead to any tangents. Thank fucking God, because if I was playing Pokemon today, you all would suffer. Okay, let me just catch up on all of the chats. I hear you all good. Hell yes, thank you. I've said it. Yeah, I've already read that one. Hella humidity. It's awful. It is so awful. It sucks. Ah. Why? Like, the summer was actually pretty decent up until, like, now. I mean, I guess that's not saying too much because it was June, and June is never that bad, but I mean, still, it's the principle of the thing. Have you heard of Sabaton? I have not. You can always play the Henry Stickmin collection if you want to turn your brain off. Oh, man. See, I've seen playthroughs of all of those games, so I feel like, you know, my reactions wouldn't be as interesting as a lot of other, like, streamers and YouTubers. But speaking of reactions, I am excited to play more Steins Gate Zero, because, I fucking loved the first game. I had a ton of fun with it. We had a ton of great moments. We got one of the best pieces of art that this channel currently has. And with that all being said, let's actually just move over to this screen because, Return of the King. Oh, right, I should pull up the text again. Oh, right, I changed it. Okay, this would have been something great to fix, before the stream started, if I had the chance. There is a darkness festering within me. Oh, right, Life, it's been a while since you've seen one of these streams. Yeah, that's Crab. People get really sad when I take him off of the screen, so he's here forever. This is late to say, but it's kind of scary that you have eyes on your hair and 2 on your cheeks. I mean, sure, where I work, that's just normal. Or at least where I worked, because shit's fucked right now. Let me finish up this message before I get too deep into chat. Okay, there we go, and let me just move this. We are setting this up before I even open the game. It's important. It's important. We need Punchachuni on screen. As you do. Exactly. So, let me actually open up the game now. Because I haven't opened it yet. Start the game. I should also, move my funny little beverage into view. Okay. Just a second. The game's doing things, and I haven't even gotten it set up yet. Just a moment. There we go. Bink video. There we go. Okay, speakers are on. Game seems a little quiet. Let me just turn that up a little bit. Yeah, game audio should be on by now. I mean, it's just kind of quiet. I'm just gonna, like, touch it up a little bit. I mean, let me know if it's too loud, too quiet. My speaker cut out. Oh, no! Okay, fair enough. I do think the audio's at, like, a decent level right now. Let me know if it's too quiet or too loud once we get in game. Let me just, grab my funny drink. It has to be in view, because I will say, the original Steins Gate was Dr. Pepper propaganda. I have drank more Dr. Pepper ever since playing that game. I am not immune to propaganda. So yeah, so I'm excited for this. I've tried to stay as spoiler-free as possible. Oh, what? Huh? Oh, this is the intro video, I guess. Let me just enter to start, because I'm pretty sure we might see that whenever we start the game. Alright. So all that I really know about this game is that it's kind of like, it's a pseudo-sequel to the first game. It deals with more time travel shenanigans, because of course it does. It's Steins Gate, which I fucking love. And also, Okabe is depressed. So, I do feel like maybe we won't use Punchachuni as much this time. Like, he has... If he's going through it, you know, I might not have much use for Punchachuni. If he is stupid, though, I don't care how depressed he is. Alright, with all that being said, let's new game. Let's get into this shit. Oh, right, this jackass. Maybe start with it off? I don't know what you mean, I'm sorry. Sabaton is a Swedish heavy metal band. Maybe I should wait to read that until Kurisu's bloodied corpse is no longer on screen. God damn. Alright. The Punchachuni. Oh! Oh, is it still on? Oh shit, I did mean to turn that off. Okay, just one moment. Just one moment. Where the fuck is it? There we go. Alright. I didn't realize that I had left it open. The hatch opened. So I'm guessing this is taking place, like, after the bad end, where, Okabe just flat out accidentally kills Kurisu. You know, I understand why he's depressed now. Bright light flooded my eyes. Where was I? My eyes narrowed. I could barely make out the summer's twilight sky. Oh god, the music! Assuming you remember the first VN. I remember a decent amount. I won't say that I remember, like, every single little detail, but I mean, I remember the story beats. I remember vaguely what happened. I'm pretty sure that as I'm reminded of those things, you know, I'll remember a lot more, but I do remember this music, though. I could barely make out the summer's twilight sky. I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to disappear. But someone grabbed my arm and dragged me out.
うお、もう帰ってきたお。まだ1分も経ってないのに。
おかわり?
It's, you know, it's wild getting back into this game, like, on such, like, a dramatic note, because my brain is just going, Daru! Mayuri! My friends! It's the same vibes that I had during, like, Nirvana Initiative, where anytime that a returning character came on screen, I was like, yo, it's you! It's good to see you again! I didn't have the energy to respond to my own nickname. I fell to the ground and wrapped my arms around myself.
Okari!
Mayuri ran to me and looked down, her face worried. But her kindness felt like nothing but a nuisance. Don't talk to me. Just leave me alone.
ちょ、おかりん血まみれじゃん。どうしたん？
父さん、タオルと水、あと服も今すぐ手に入れてきて。
どういうことか説明プリーズ。
いいから早く。
Yeah, there'll be time to fill you in later. Like this is
わかったお。
Also Suzuha! Daru ran to the door that led back inside the building.
おかりん、大丈夫？しっかりして、死なないで。大丈夫。怪我してるわけじゃないよ。
Stop it. Just get away from me. Leave me alone. I couldn't save her. In fact, I killed her myself. Right here, 3 weeks ago. I killed her. I'm a murderer.
無駄だったんだ。何をやっても無駄だ。全部決まってしまっていることなんだよ。
Yeah, you are really going through it this game, wow. The few spoilers that I read about this were not joking.
同じだ。真由里の時と同じなんだ。
The timeline where Mayuri doesn't slap him! God.
どれだけもがいたって結果は同じになる。
Love the idea that that's the turning point of the timeline. It's Mayuri slapping him. Oh, fuck, I'm not reading. Shit. Okay, there we go. No matter how many times I try, it will all converge back to the same result. The process doesn't matter. Whether you time travel or time leap, you can't go back and change the results of the past. I thought I understood that cruel truth. But now, I was forced to realize it again. And in the worst possible way.
無駄だよ。無駄なんだ。何もかも無駄なんだよ。俺はやっぱりクリスを助けられないんだ。分かってた。分かってたんだ。こうなるって予想してたんだ。もう疲れた。ずっと休んでないんだ。だからもういいよ。
Man, I've gotta say, I do really like that. Like, and this was a thing in the original Steins Gate 2, but I like that the text moves at the speed of the voice acting. That is really nice, and it means that I don't cut off pieces of dialogue.
Okari, 一体何が。
俺が殺した。殺してしまった。バカみたいだ。全部俺のせいだ。
マキセ・クリスをさ。
I think that was the part where Mayuri was supposed to slap him. I think it was. This really is. This is the bad timeline where Mayuri doesn't slap him. Punching a Chuny was the correct action to get the best result. It started as a joke, but like... No, that's just real.
殺した？嘘、そんな。でも安心して。まだもう一回分タイムトラベルはできる。
ほっといてくれ。俺のことなんか何度やったって結果は同じだ。
何言ってんの？諦めるつもり？オカリンおじさんの肩には何十億っていう人の命がかかってるんだよ。
I love that she calls him uncle. That's really sweet. I think she did that in the first game too, and I'm pretty sure I commented on it then, but like, it's been long enough that I can comment on it again, you know?
たった一回の失敗が何だって言うんだ。
クリスはどうやったって助けられない。世界線の収束には逆らえない。
Oh, right, I forgot about that. How do I look at that? No, don't fucking do that. How do I look at my menu? Oh, it's 1. Okay. You know what? I'll save. Let's do tips. This term refers to an infinite number of possible worlds. However, these worlds do not exist in parallel. Only one exists at a given time. Everything that occurs along a world line from the past to the future has been predetermined. Thus, no matter how much you change the past along a single world line, the result will converge to the same outcome. No, no, no! I have to get used to these controls again! I love that it zooms out though, that's a cool effect. That's the reality of this world. I learned that a long time ago.
こうなったらビンタしてでも気合い入れ直して。ダメだよ、無理強いするのは良くないよ。こんなボロボロになってるオカリン見てられないもん。でもさ、このままじゃ未来を変えられない。どうして未来のことをオカリン一人に押し付けるの？そんなの重すぎるよ。オカリンおじさんには世界の観測者としての能力があるからだよ。オカリンが望んだわけじゃないのに。それにもう一度やったってまたオカリンが傷つくだけだって思うな。未来のことを人一人で変えようなんてきっと無理なんだよ。だからそのためのシュタインズゲートで、気持ちはわかるよ。でもさ、私も未来をかけてここまで来てるんだよね。どっちにしろ2036年には戻れないんだ。そう簡単に諦めるつもりはないから。オカリンおじさん、一つだけ忠告しとく。このタイムマシンに残されてる燃料は有限なの。さっきは往復2回分しか残ってないって言ったけど、実はまだそれなりに余裕はある。それでも移動できる時間はおよそ344日分。
あ、
片道のタイムトラベルだとしても今から1年と経たないうちに7月28日には届かなくなる。覚えといて、その日になったらさ、私はたとえ一人でも飛ぶよ。
Someone was saying something to me, but I couldn't understand the words. I didn't want to listen to anything. I just wanted to sleep. Just let this all end. Just let me go.
オカリン、オカリン、ねえ、オカリン、もう頑張らなくてもいいからね。泣いてもいいんだよ、オカリン。マユシーはそばにいるからね、オカリン。
I forgot just what a sweetheart Mayuri is. Like, I remembered that she was, like, really nice in the first game, but, like... Man, yeah, I think she's exactly the person that Okabe needs around him right now. I don't know if Mayuri's words were the reason why, but... the tears started to flow. I decided to forget everything. Ever since that day, I stopped going to the Future Gadget Lab. Alright. One hell of an intro to the story. Neat. Alright, we've skipped forward to November. UPX, the new symbol of Akihabara, was located right in front of the station. On the hall on the 4th floor, preparations had been going on all morning for the ATF Akihabara Techno Forum Convention. University and labs from both inside and outside of the country would work together to put on special seminars and symposiums at irregular intervals. My school, Tokyo Denki University, was participating as part of its industry collaboration efforts. Students were required to attend these seminars and submit reports to their instructors. So let me just quickly look at the tips, because I know that we've gotten a couple of them. Although I'm sure this one isn't gonna be a shock to those who have played the first Steins Gate. Or, you know, seen my playthrough. Jumping tracks for a tad, I've been watching some Ultraman on YouTube. Did you know? Do you know what Ultraman is? I've heard of it. I don't know much about it. So the Future Gadget Lab Category Chinibyo. Okay, some stuff from the first game is coming back to me. A lab in name only. It is actually a group of students who make strange inventions. Its founder, Rintaro Okabe, described it as a place where he can further his ambitions to overthrow the ruling structure of the world. To get there, head down Center Street from Akihabara Station. Then when you get to Suehiro-cho intersection, you take a left at Kurumebashi Street. Then head into the alleyway just in front of the next light and you'll find an old multi-purpose building called the Ubiyama Building. It's on the second floor. I love how this is implying that you can, like, visit them in real life. You can't do that unless your brain does what mine does and sometimes has me, like, just having dreams where I'm hanging out with different characters. In the tweet when I said, like, maybe I'll have another dream about me and the lab mems going to McDonald's together, that was real. That actually did happen, like, while I was playing the first Steins game. There was nothing else to that dream. It was literally just, like, the four main lab mems, and me just fucking at McDonald's eating burgers and chicken nuggets. That was literally the whole dream. Fucking great. I hope that something similar happens this time. People have visited the location where the lab is based. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love it when any kind of media is like, yeah, we are set in this city, and we've done, like, we're making it so accurate that you could visit these locations. And it's not live action. Like, that's one of the main things. It's like, it can't be live action, because of course in live action, they can, you can, like, find, like, the stairs that the Joker danced on or whatever. Like, you can find that shit in real life. It's whenever it's, like, animated or a video game or something, that's when it's impressive, because you didn't have to do that. Okay, let's read Tokyo Denki University. First founded as the Denki School in 1907, in 1949 it became a college in Kanda, Tokyo. Denki University trains engineers and scientists to promote the healthy development of scientific technology. It was founded around the principle of practical study above all else, and its education and research motto is, technology is people. Because of the school's location, it was deeply involved in the development of Akihabara. Interesting. Like Ghost of Tsushima and the entire island of Tsushima. I didn't know that was based on, like, a real place. I know nothing about the Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I've seen my mom play, like, maybe 10 minutes of it, and that's it. Also, Ultraman is one of the top 3 tokusatsu series in Japan. If you don't know what tokusatsu is, basically Power Rangers. Oh, okay, neat. I don't know much. Okay. Let's continue. Otherwise, they wouldn't get credit for their related classes. Oh, that sucks. In addition, I was supposed to help one of the lecturers, Associate Professor Izaki. I had just gotten a list from the reception desk at the shared lobby. I was waiting to check off the names of students who were coming into the lectures. There was still some time before the seminar started, so the lobby was mostly empty. None of the students on the list were here yet. I was bored, but I couldn't do anything but wait. The old me never could have imagined doing anything like this, but impressing Izaki was part of my new goal in life. Victor Condria University. Yes, that was my new goal. Izaki did a lot of joint research projects with them and knew a lot of people there. The best first step in getting there, my brain would come up with, was being his assistant. Okay, that was worded a little bit weirdly. Might just be the spacing too. The best first step to getting there my brain would come up with was being his assistant. Also, this convention was holding another seminar by Victor Conrad University, after the one held this summer. Of course, that interested me too. Summer. Oh fuck, the horrors. An image of her as she was then flashed through my mind. Ghost of Tsushima is a video game retelling the Mongolian invasion of Japan, which really happened. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was what it was about. I knew it was, like... It's like samurais and shit. Which is pretty cool. It's just like, okay, so I'm already going on a tangent. But, like, so due to the Steam Summer Sale, Life, how are you getting these emojis? Are these just on YouTube? I've never seen them before. That's awesome. Anyways. But, I was telling my grandma the other night, it's like, I'm playing a lot of Skyrim right now, and it's because my brain goes, like, okay. So, because of the Steam Summer Sale, I've picked up both Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas with all of their DLCs for, like, both of them combined with all DLCs was around $25 Canadian, which is fucking insane for the amount of content that is. But, and, like, I've kind of been on a Fallout 4 kick recently because, like, I think a lot of the companions are really cool. That game is objectively, like, story-wise, like, the main story isn't the best. But, goddamn, they wrote some compelling companion characters. That was a dumb sentence to say. But anyways, I'm trying to restrain myself from, like, playing Fallout 4, though. Because I know that if I play it for too long, I'll forget what I was doing in Skyrim, and then I'm not gonna want to play Skyrim anymore, at least not that save. And then I'll start from the beginning again, and spend even more time. So, this is why I don't play a lot of, like, big open world games, because I need to, like, finish something in them before I'm willing to, you know, move on to a different game. But the thing is, those games are so fucking long, and I have so many, like, things that I want to do with my time, as well as other games that I want to play that aren't that. It's just, my brain was not made for big games. This is why I stick to indie titles. I went back to The Witcher recently, and it's hard to remember where I was. I don't want to restart. That's the vibe. It's like, maybe I'm overthinking it, maybe it would work out, but... Fun fact, there's a mode called Kurosawa mode, named after the legendary samurai film director Akira Kurosawa, that adds some film grain and lowers the audio quality to emulate old black and white movies. That is really cool. Okay, let's continue. I was trying to get to Victor Condria so that I could learn about the work that Kurisu Makise had been doing. I wanted to try and do it myself. Of course, I wasn't a genius like Kurisu. I knew there was no way I'd ever be able to do exactly what she did. But if I could do even 10% of it... Honestly, I'm amazed that I've recovered so well. I mean, you just had a flashback. I don't think you are. I thought that to myself and chuckled just as a voice called to me across the lobby.
ちょっと、そこの方?
Huh?
Oh? Who are you? You are new. Oh, you're new too. Hi, Acid Grid. Welcome to the stream. This is a visual novel. We're playing Steins Gate 0. I played the first Steins Gate about a year ago, and so I've been really excited to get back into this, but I wanted to give some time between doing the two games. This way I wouldn't get burnt out on the series. Also, I think my microphone got turned down somehow. What in the goddamn is going on there? Her? Oh, so she's cool? Okay, fair enough. I looked up and saw a young girl approaching from the elevator hall. I ain't new, but also cool. Oh, shit! Sorry if my brain has been like shit today. They sucker punch where the developers even went to Akira Kurosawa's estate to get his family's blessing to use his name. That's real dedication. Yeah, that is. She was short and petite. Everything about her was small. I could kind of make out a few of the curves that don't appear until after puberty, so at least she wasn't in elementary school, but... maybe middle school? For someone with such a cute face, she clearly didn't care about her appearance. Her hair wasn't styled and it flowed down her back. Even I could tell her clothes weren't very fashionable.
ごめんなさい。スタッフルームってどこかしら?
ここは ATF のセミナー会場だけど。
Clearly not a place where a middle school girl belonged. You're about to make a fool of yourself. She'd probably just come to the wrong place.
そんなの分かっているわ。何度同じ話を繰り返せば気が済むの?
いや、今初めて言ったんだけど。
MC cares about fashion. Not a bit cringe, isn't it, bruv? God, it's been so long since I've had to voice Herlock Sholmes that I think my British accent has gone back to being in the toilet. Implying it ever left the toilet, but, like, you know what I mean. Also, I don't think he cares about it that much, but that's why he said, like, even I could tell that her clothes weren't very fashionable.
私にとってはあなたで4回目よ。この場所に来てからね。
Irritated, she pulled a card out of her jacket. It was one of the IDs given out to invited guests. Her name and the name of her workplace were written on the front. It's more the lack of fashion. Maho. Hiajo? Is that how you pronounce that? I'm not sure. Victor Condria University, USA. Brain Science Institute.
ビクトル・コンドリア大学脳科学研究所
Oh, so she worked with Kurisu. Interesting. Okay. The field of study that researches animal brains, also called neuroscience. It investigates the brain from a number of perspectives, including biology, genetics, medicine, psychology, and electrical engineering. Interesting. Maho! Okay, so you're definitely gonna be important. I looked at the card, and then back at her, and then back at the card. Then I looked at her again. Finally realized.
ああそういうことかそのカードどこに落ちてたんだ
No!
拾ってくれたん
その話も4回目よ。
She sighed and showed me another card. This one was a photo ID from Victor Condria University.
Eh?
Brain science just sounds funny to me. Like, aren't most fields in science use brains? I mean, you're right. You're right, but it's about the study of the brains, not what the brains are doing to study. It was the same ID I'd seen Kurisu holding before on another world line. The photo on the card. Yeah, that was definitely her. See, I don't remember that part. I could have overlooked it because I didn't know that there would be an extra character in the sequel.
私の名前、ヒアジョウマホ。漢字でもローマ字でも誰も読めた試しがないから先に言っとくわ。
ビクトル・コンドリア大学の中学生
No! You do this one more time and I am pulling out Punchachuni.
寝ぼけるなら夜にして。大学に中学生がいるわけないでしょ。
それもそうだなじゃあ飛び級か
Unlike in Japan, it wasn't uncommon for Americans to skip grades. Kurisu had made it to university at age 17. Wait, is that like an American or at least like Western thing? Because I know that also happens in Canada. But I had no idea that like places like Japan wouldn't do that. He's confused. It's true. But like, I feel like at a certain point, you know? But still, a girl this young working in a university lab?
一つ確認していいかしら。
お
Oh god. She did show him her badge.
あなた今、少なからず衝撃を受けてるわよね。こんな小さい子が信じられないかしら。それともこの年齢ですごいの方。
あ
She got me.
高校をよく見なさい。
Wait. She's like 30 years old! Wait a minute! The girl, Maho Hiajo, pointed to the part of the ID with her slender fingers. She was born in 1989, and it was 2010, so...
21
Okay, my math was entirely wrong. I'm bad.
つま
21.
り立派な成人女性よ。
I think I'm thinking of it in terms of like
もちろん小学生
2020.
でも幼稚園児でも。
And then she puffed out her chest. There wasn't much to see, but I could imagine her saying, "Oh god, really? Buddy! We're starting this now?" I'm not saying that. That could be taken out of context too easily.
何かしらその顔は。
あ、いや、悪かったわ。謝る。
I couldn't believe it. She was older than me. No. We'll look at for the win. I'm not looking at the other one.
まあいいわ。世界中どこへ行っても同じ目に遭ってるから。
Mixed out of context clip opportunity. I mean, yes, it's good for the bit. Let me just clear that. Net slang used to express excitement about a positive event or experience. Abbreviated FTW. See, that was used. I remember using that in like high school, but people would always read it as "fuck the world" for some reason. So I stopped using that.
そうだろうな。
A classic.
何か言った？
あ、いや、別に。
Still, the Brain Science Institute? That's where Kurisu worked. Which means this kid, no, this person might know a lot about Kurisu. I held back the impulse to start badgering her with questions. I looked at the pamphlet with the seminar schedules. Victor Conria's lecture was the last one for the day, and it was clearly intended to be the biggest. Was this Maho Hyajo girl gonna give a lecture? Just like Kurisu had done at the summer convention. No, wait, that's wrong. That never happened. Kurisu Makise never gave any lectures over the summer. That happened in the Alpha World Line. In the world line I inhabited now before the summer convention. She'd already...
君が今日登壇を？
いいえ、私は助手として来たの。あと通訳も兼ねてね。
I looked at the pamphlet again and saw that the lecturer was a man named Alexis Leskinen? Alexis Leskinen. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Don't make me pronounce it again! A professor at Victor Conria University and the chief researcher of the Brain Science Institute. You had it right the first time? Okay, fuck yes.
テーマは人工知能革命か。面白そうだ。
Wow, that's a little topical. Leskinen, to my knowledge. Oh, okay, cool.
時間があったらぜひ聞いてみてほしいわね。
そうするよ。あ、スタッフルームだったよな。
I lead Maho over to the elevator hall and showed her where the staff room was.
ありがとう。
I had no reason to hang around her any further. I said goodbye and was just about to turn around. Just then, the elevator opened. A woman emerged. The instant I saw her face, every hair on my body stood on end. Oh, wait. Is it gonna be, what was the quiet lady's name? Is she here? It's her! Moika! That's her name! Remember just in time. Well, I wasn't expecting to see her here. Moika, Kiryu. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. Calm down. This is the Beta World Line. Mayuri is alive. Moika's not going to kill her. Our eyes met. The eyes on the other side of her glasses were as dead as ever, and it was impossible to tell what she was thinking. I frantically averted my gaze before she realized something was wrong. She tilted her head for a second, but quickly lost interest in me and turned towards Maho.
ああ、雑誌社の方でしたよね。お約束通り、主催を。
Even in this world line, Moika still only spoke in faint whispers.
レスキネン教授はまだなんです。少しお待たせしてしまいますけど。はい。それまで私でよければシステムの概要でも。
Steins Gate spoilers, there is no gate named after Stein. Welcome, 100th Assassin. Good to see you again. Alright, let's
お願い
keep going.
します。
The two of them disappeared into the staff room. As I watched them leave, I took a deep breath. I tried to calm down, but it wasn't working.
桐生萌か。もしかしてまたお前なのか。
It was a terrible feeling, like a cold finger tracing the wounds in my heart. That night, when the terrorist threat shut down all the trains in Akihabara. That awful night when I just knew something was going to happen.
ここでもまたお前が。
Or was I just imagining things? Was she just a magazine reporter now instead of a CERN rounder? So, of course, if you know Steins Gate, you know... Oh, wait, rounder as well. This is another term, but we'll start with CERN. Fictional. The European Laboratory for Nuclear Research. CERN, however, is not an acronym for this group. It comes from the French Société Européenne... Fuck. It's been a while since I fucking took in a French class, okay? Hi, Hero! Welcome back to the stream! Société Européenne de Recherche Nucléaire. European Society for Nuclear Research. Its predecessor group. The lab consists of the world's largest particle accelerator on the outskirts of Geneva, Switzerland. It crosses the border between France and Switzerland, and there is a bank, library, post office, and living quarters located on the grounds. Nice. Research teams from all over the world, but particularly the 19 countries of Europe, gather here to perform experiments in elementary particle physics. No brain today! Like I said, it's dead. It's gone. It is melting because it's hot outside and so humid. Several thousand people work at CERN. And then for Rounder. An unofficial group that works for CERN. It is, in theory, an independent group that does technological research. Rounders... What? What do you mean? What's up with that? Oh, for fuck's sake! What? Wait, what is happening? Wait a minute! Wait a minute. What the fuck just happened? I don't know what the fuck went on there, guys. I don't know how long that was happening. Hi, history teacher. Just a second, I gotta move myself up a little bit. There we go. Okay, well, actually that's a little, that's a little too much. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Okay. Literal spider arc. Okay, let's restart this article because, oh man. An unofficial group that works for CERN. It is, in theory, an independent group that does technology research. Rounders are deployed all over the world, and their exact numbers are unknown. Their real objective is to recover the IBN 5100s, the only machines capable of hacking CERN's hidden database, as well as crushing any attempts at time machine research around the world and taking the scientists back to work for CERN. They are, in essence, mercenaries who are capable of using force if necessary. Some of their members on the bottom rung do their work without even ever meeting another rounder face to face. Okay. No, even if Moeko was a rounder, we had nothing to do with CERN anymore. CERN wouldn't be watching us. At least that's what we hope. I took another deep breath, grabbed some of the anxiety meds in my pocket, and swallowed them down with some mineral water I'd bought ahead of time. It would take 15 minutes for them to kick in. Those 15 minutes were always pretty rough. Okay, so you are getting help for this, which is good. Very fucking good. I actually kind of wasn't really expecting that. I laughed at myself a little and sat down on one of the reception desk's chairs. The table was filled with leaflets. Oh, what? Huh? Heh? Heh? Aw, I forgot about the phone mechanics. Do-do-do. Imagine being a magazine reporter in this day. Yeah, that's gotta be a hard job to land nowadays, because, I mean, the magazines that are running now are either fucking tabloids, or they're for, like, very specific, like, niche things, like, the kind of magazines that you would have to go to, like, a bookstore or something. Okay. I mean, as of right now, everything, you know, seems alright. We got a little spooked, but aside from that, you know. Oh, she's still typing? Can't wait to see what kind of seminar it'll be. Maybe she wishes she could have seen it too. Maybe a little too hard for you to follow. Oh, they have custom emojis! You're right. Okay, I don't want to get in your way. Bye! Aw, cute. Okay, we'll close that. That delicious Louisiana swamp air. That's what it is outside right now. It's, fucking sucks. You go outside and, like, the air is, like, pre-sweat. It's gross. I hate it. So, that's also why I'm not sure how long this stream is gonna be, just because, I can't have my AC on whenever I'm streaming anymore. I have to turn it off because my air conditioner is now, like, right next to my desk. I did not notice you could open the phone by clicking on the date. I didn't know there was another way to do it. I was just clicking on the only other thing on the screen. The table was filled with leaflets, pamphlets, and other things for the attendees. My eyes wandered to one of the pamphlets. Nakabachi Theory and the Genealogy of Pseudoscience. This pamphlet was for Professor Izaki's seminar. Nakabachi Theory. The paper he'd announced in Russia. That paper held the key to creating a real time machine. On that day, July 28th, Nakabachi had stolen the paper from Kurisu, his own daughter, and left with it. I knew that. Only Nakabachi and I knew that. I flipped through the pamphlet. It was a brief introduction to the many forms of pseudoscience and fake scientific discoveries that had emerged since the start of the 20th century. On its own, it did make for interesting reading. And at the end of the pamphlet, Nakabachi Theory was introduced as nothing more than another entry in that long list of fakes. So Dr. Nakabachi's time machine theory had been completely ignored by the academic world. All the glory, fame, and power he had wanted so badly that he was willing to get rid of his own daughter, he didn't get any of it. And I'd heard rumors that after the announcement, he'd been imprisoned in a Russian lab. To make it even funnier, he thought he was getting VIP treatment. For a short time, there were essays and interviews in bogus academic journals. Even there, it was obvious that it had all gone to his head. Hi, Gambit! Welcome to the stream! Oh, shit. Nightbot is already racking up a kill count. Cool. Sorry, history teacher. The ironic thing was that Nakabachi Theory was completely correct and completely revolutionary. The Russian government was worried about it leaking, and the SVR was doing everything it could to keep it under wraps. Okay. Let me look at that. SVR, the Service of the External Reconnaissance of the Russian Federation, aka SVR, Russia's external intelligence agency. Its HQ is in Yasenovo in southern Moscow. After the old Soviet Committee for State Security, the KGB, was disbanded, the new SVR was modeled after the KGB's first directorate. There are other intelligence agencies in Russia as well, such as the Main Intelligence Directorate. Why is that GRU? I mean, I guess maybe in Russian, the word for main, like, the words are probably different. And the Federal Security Service, FSB. Each of them has their own territory and specialization. I don't like Russia as a Finnish person. That's fair. That's fair. It's like they are also, like, really fucking over Ukraine right now. Nothing against the people who live there, but, like, good God. Can the government please stop doing war crimes? Or maybe they're not crimes, but, like, stop doing war, stop killing people. I'm hitting tab instead of backspace. God. But under the surface, there was a full-scale information war beginning over the paper. The time traveler from 2036, John Titor, had told me so, which meant it had to be true. So I bet this is gonna tell us who that is. On November 2000, a man appeared on an American message board claiming to be a time traveler from the year 2036. This became an internet phenomenon that inspired a storm of questions and debate. The man called himself John Titor and published partial pictures of the manual for his time machine, as well as an explanation for how it operated. He also made clear what would happen in the near future, how interfering with the timeline worked, the principles behind the multiverse and parallel worlds, as well as timelines and world lines. And then, 4 months after his appearance, he left a final message saying that he'd completed his mission and he would be returning to his world. Then he vanished for good. Nightbot, killing spree! Nightbot's on a gun run. Not as much as Japan in 1941. Oh, yeah, like, that's like mega fucked war crimes. But, I mean, even if, like, one government did worse, it doesn't mean the other one is any better for it. Was World War III really going to happen? There was no point in thinking about it. Just a little more before the drugs kicked in. I closed my eyes. Several hours later, the convention was going well. After Professor Izaki's seminar, most of the students from my university went home, but I killed some time and came back. Don't search Unit 731. Unfortunately, I already have. That is some information that I am never going to unlearn. I would recommend other people don't. It's basically like it was a unit in, like, I think the Japanese military. It's been a while since I looked into it, and I don't want to fact check this because, gross. But yeah, they did horrific fucking human experimentation. Just fucking horrible. So yeah, don't research it unless you want to read about people getting brutalized and, yeah, bio stuff. Exactly, it's... I'm summarizing it because whenever you tell someone, don't search something, they're gonna get curious about it. So I want to tell people, like, the basic premises to what it is. This way they don't go in, like, they don't look it up and, like, try to research it and then come face to face with all this horrifying shit. It's like, on one hand, you know, it's good to learn history, and it's good to learn, like, the dark parts of history, because that's what keeps people from, like, repeating that shit in the future. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to set people up to be like, I wonder what this is, let me read a Wikipedia article. Oh god! You know? After Professor Izaki's seminar, most of the students from my university went home, but I killed some time and came back. Talk to me if you want history. Hell yeah. I mean, that's your name. I wanted to hear the Victor Condria lecture. I headed to the hall with plenty of time to spare and saw Maho Hyajo coming from the staff room. She was with a very tall foreigner. Was that Alexis Leskinen? Leskinen. That's the name. It didn't seem like an American name, but maybe he was an immigrant like Kurisu, or at least descended from one. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but the looks on their faces were so serious that I couldn't help but listen. You did it? Fuck yeah! Love it when I can say words. Since they were both speaking in English, I could barely make out any of it. But what I could tell from their voices was that it wasn't a pleasant chat. Wait, did I just hear the word makise? I hated the fact that I couldn't speak English. If I'd known this was gonna happen, I would have gone to an English school. The two of them walked to the waiting room for the lecturers. See, that's also me being like, oh man, I fucking wish I understood French. I would have so many more job opportunities outside of the Foundation If I knew French! The two of them walked into the waiting room for the lecturers. It was located right next to the UPX theater. I put together the few fragments I was able to understand. Fire at Kurisu's house. Mrs. Makise is alright. Robbery. The police called off the investigation. Why was the FBI there? It doesn't make sense. I think that's what they were saying. Bro, there was a wiki on NSFW stuff on a horse. I'd believe it. I'd believe it. That's happened in history. Understanding French is overrated. Not when you live in Canada. Especially living in Ontario, where it's like you're close enough to Quebec, where like French is the primary language, that, you know, whenever French people come over here, it's nice to be able to speak the language. And also a lot of jobs, especially if you're working for the government in any capacity, you need to be bilingual. You live in Canada? Hell yeah! Fellow Canadian! If you can think of it, it probably exists on the internet. Yeah, that's like one of the rules, isn't it? Rule 27 or whatever the fuck. Not Rule 34, everyone knows what that one is. Understanding Ontario is overrated. Honestly, as someone who over the past few years has gotten, like, more into, like, politics and stuff, you're right. Overrated. It all just sucks. Oh well. I think that's what they were saying. Kurisu's house. Do they mean where she lived in America? Her mother should still live in America. Is that where the fire was? And then words like robbery and the investigation was called off. I really wanted to know more. Me too, bud. I stood there and worried until it was time for the lecture to begin. With nothing else to do, I went inside the theater. I could tell earlier by looking at the size of the crowds going in, but it was a very high-energy crowd. The atmosphere was clearly different than Izaki's seminar, which was mostly students there for credit. The place was nearly full with a crowd of scientists and people who wanted to learn about cutting-edge technology. Victor Condria's researchers had published a slate of papers in science recently and had gotten a lot of media attention. Maybe that was why. Were there any empty seats? God, this brings me back to, like, going to conventions and, you know, going to panels and stuff and being like, oh fuck, there's no seats, I have to stand at the back. I found a single open seat at the edge. Wait, that's the same line again. I found a single empty seat at the edge. When I looked at who was sitting next to it, I moaned. Don't do that in public! Are you Stein and Gates novella? I sure fucking am, Umbrant. We haven't gotten too far, but I mean, so far, this is a pretty fascinating premise. You again? Moeka Kiryu was there. She was speaking to no one, just typing endlessly into her phone. I'd once named her Shining Finger because of her incredible typing speed, and she was as fast as ever. Who was she talking to? I didn't even want to imagine. I quickly turned away and looked for another seat. Dr. Leskinen. That's it! I'm gonna have to do this every fucking time this guy's name pops up, by the way. Dr. Leskinen reached the podium almost the exact instant I sat down. The plot so far has been time exists. She really does look like a kid next to him. There was a huge wave of applause. But when they saw the tiny little girl come up next to him, the applause faded into confused murmurs. Maho must have expected this. Her expression didn't change in the slightest as she stood next to the professor. In fact, when she took the microphone from the professor and looked around the theater, she looked like she belonged there.
Ladies and gentlemen.
First, Dr. Leskinen began to speak in English. When he made eye contact with Maho, she began to interpret.
Thank you for attending
皆
this
さ
seminar.
ん、本日は私のセミナーに集まってくださって感謝します。
I am Alexis Leskinen
ビクトル・コンドリア大学脳科学研究所のアレクシス・レスキネンです。専門は脳信号処理システムおよび人工知能理論になります。
It's really cool that they recorded the lines in English and had it play underneath hers. Like, they could have just had her lines for this. I really like that little detail.
そして私は助手のヒアジョウ真帆です。同じく脳科学研究所で教授の指導に沿って研究をしています。よろしく。
Who is NekoCat on my Discord? It is a good touch. The audience started murmuring again. That was the same way I responded when I met her. Well, that'll happen, yeah.
Now, without further ado,
では
I'd
早
like
速
to
ですが、
introduce some of
私たちの
our
最先端研
research.
究の一端をご紹介します。
I know
Okay.
this theme is a
テーマは
revolution in
人
artificial
工知能
intelligence,
革命
but
と
I
しました
think
が、
you'll find this
これ
research
からデ
will
モンストレー
exceed
ションする
your
システムは
wildest expectations.
おそらく皆さんの想像を超えたものではないかと思っています。
Oh? Well, first off, let's read a Wikipedia article. Oh, we haven't looked at the FBI either. Okay, artificial intelligence, often shortened to AI. There have been many different definitions for this word since its creation. For example, some use it to refer to control systems with self-directed learning capability, while others use it to refer to programs whose thought routines mirror humans. And then, FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, an American police organization. It is attached to the Department of Justice and handles crimes that occur on American soil. There are approximately 30,000 people who work for the FBI. When crimes take place involving a wide area in multiple states, the FBI investigates under federal law. Very cool. Okay. I will say, talking about AI like this is a little topical in today's society. Fun fact about AX Convention this weekend, during a Fate panel, the translator was too starstruck to translate the celebrities. Then the person that replaced him didn't know the material! No! That sucks so bad it made my voice crack, what the fuck? God. That sounds like a mess. It's crazy how relevant the AI discussion is nowadays. Oh. It's gonna be even more relevant? Is what you're saying? I'm fascinated now. Dr. Leskinson. Leskinen. I've said it correctly like 7 times! And I keep getting it wrong! Stood in front of the laptop. The fucking Nightbot, no! Great googly moogly, it's all gone to shit. Stood in front of the laptop that had been placed on the podium and started to type.
This terminal here is connected
こ
to
のパソコン
one of the
ですが、
supercomputers
研究所のスーパーコンピューターの一つと接続されています。ああ、まだプロジェクターには映さないで。
One of the staffers was about to display the laptop screen on the front projector. Some kind of important program must have been booting up because Maho Hyajo stopped them.
Sorry, this is all
す
still
み
in
ません。
development.
まだ開
We
発途中
haven't
なん
had
です。
time to develop much of UI
非
yet.
常に美的センスのないプログラムが画面いっぱいに溢れ返っています。
Dr. Let's get it? I feel like if I called him that, I would actually get his name right, sadly enough.
Honestly, I'm
こ
a
んな
little
チープな
embarrassed
プログ
by
ラムを
all
見
this
られるのは
computer
恥ず
data.
かしい。
I almost feel like
裸を見られる
I'm
よりも
naked
ね。
here. Any engineers out there?
この中にエンジニアの方がいるなら理解していただけますよね。
Some of the audience got the professor's joke and laughed.
Anyway, while this finishes
起
setting
動
up,
するまでの
I'll
間、
give you a quick
このシ
overview
ス
of
テム
our
全
system.
体の概略を説明しましょう。
There was another projector in the center of the stage. A diagram appeared on its screen. And at the top of the diagram was a Japanese translation for the general audience. An analysis of neural pulse signals relating to memories stored in the temporal lobe. Wait, that's the fucking... That's the phone thing. That's time leaping, right? An electrical signal that travels through a human's nerve cells. It's used to quickly spread information between cells. And then the temporal cortex, a part of the cerebrum located at the side of the brain. It controls memory, judgment, emotional restraint, hearing, and more. It's also used for accessing the hippocampus, which is on the edge of the cerebrum. I love these YouTube emotes. They're so fucking weird looking. Why did they make them like this? I knew that title well. In fact, I was sure I could never forget it. It was the title of an essay written by a 17-year-old genius and published in Science. She had completely analyzed the nerve impulse patterns that governed human memory and used that to digitize the memories themselves into data. Thank you for the selection of emojis. And she had used that to invent the time leap machine right in front of my eyes. Though, none of that had actually happened anymore.
We've actually been featured in
サイエンス誌に掲載されたので、
so some of you
ご存知の
may
方も
already
いるで
be
しょう。
familiar with the project. It was proposed by a very talented
これは
Japanese member of our team.
私たちのチームにいた天才的な日本人研究者によって提唱され完成されたものです。
Human memories are stored
人
in
間の
the
記憶は
cerebral cortex,
大
particularly
脳
in
皮
the
質、
temporal lobe,
とりわ
a
け
little like fresh
側
memory.
頭葉に記録されます。いわゆるフラッシュ
Send
メ
help
モリ
YouTube
み
has
た
a
い
weird
な。
emoji button and it won't close! No! Well, guess what, 100th Assassin? Now you legally have to send your favorite YouTube emoji. Cerebral cortex. The gray-colored external layer of the human brain. It's only a few millimeters thick, but consists of over 10 billion neurons in countless layers. The central core governing sensation, movement, and mental activity. Different parts handle different functions. Interesting. Wait, I keep clicking when I should be
The part
hitting
of the
space.
temporal lobe
そ
that
のメモリ
controls
に
the
記憶を
writing
書
and
き込ん
reading
だ
of
り
memories is
読み出したりするのが
artificial intelligence.
側頭葉にある海馬傍回という部位になります。
It only has 5 emoji? But, like, the history teacher just sent, like, 10 of them! History teacher, are you sending fake YouTube emojis? Why is my voice doing this? This is what I get for fixing technical difficulties before stream instead of, like, doing voice warm-ups. The hippocampal gyrus is found on the outside edge of the hippocampus. It is the part of the brain that controls memories and spatial recognition. It is responsible for spatial processing as well as the sensation of being familiar with a situation or a place. It plays an important role in memory encoding and retrieval. Dr. Leskinen points us to the diagrams of the brain and hippocampus on the screen. I was, like, reading that, I was like, fuck yes, I finally got his name right on, like, the second try, and then I fucked up the rest of the sentence. YouTube has 2 wolves. One is mandatory emoji. The other is accidental self-report.
The brain works by transmitting
脳は
electrical signals between
ニューロン
cells
と呼ばれる
called
細
neurons.
胞の間を電気信号が伝わっていくことで働いています。
Alright, let's learn what the fuck a neuron is, chat. Also referred to as nerve cells. Cells specialized for information processing. Electrical pulses flow through these cells to share various types of information, making them a form of transmission mechanism. Very cool, very interesting.
What we call memories are
記
just
憶というの
those
も
electrical signals
実
and
は
they're
こうい
controlled
っ
by
た
the
電気信号
artificial
の
gyrus.
伝わりの一つなのです。その働きを制御しているのが海馬傍回と言ってもいいでしょう。
In other words,
つまり
electrical signals passing
電
through
気
the
信号
organ
が
of your
海馬
gyrus
傍
is
回を
what
出
creates
入りする
memories.
ことで記憶は作られていくんですね。
That was a foundation for
そこで
recent monkeys.
マキセ・クリスはこの論文を書いた日本人研究者です。
And excuse me, I mean, Ms. Makise, one of our
マキセ
research
研
assistants.
究員は考えました。
You see here, electrical signals, signal patterns, the
海馬
cerebral
傍
cortex.
回を通る電気信号が電気信号のパターンと大脳皮質の
Ah, geez, she getting lost. Maho started to have trouble with her interpreting. She was getting confused. No matter how good you were with languages, interpreting for a long period of time had to be difficult. I'd once read an article on the internet that said even a professional can't do it for more than 20 minutes. International conferences and live broadcasts from overseas were actually handled by a team of people switching off, Interesting. Why is Microsoft Sam talking? Do you mean like the guy talking in the background, or is Dr. Leskinen supposed to be Russian or English? Probably Russian? Judging by the last name, that sounds like a Russian last name. Or maybe, was she having trouble because Kurisu's name came up? Dr. Leskinen saw that she was having trouble and cut himself off.
すみません。
Ms. Makise, focus on the patterns
マキセ
entering
研
and
究員は
exiting the parahippocampal
海馬
cells.
妨害を出入りする電気信号のパターンに着目しました。
By analyzing those patterns,
そのパ
she
タ
was
ーンが
able to gather data on
大
these
脳
memories
皮
in the
質の
cerebral cortex
どの記
they
憶と
corresponded
対
to.
応しているのか解析を行って完全なデータを得たのです。
This data allows her to
これ
take
に
the
よって
analog memory signals
記憶と
and
いう曖昧で
convert
ア
them
ナログ
into a
なも
digital
のを
combination of
電気
electrical
信
signal
号の
patterns
パター
based
ン
on
の
the
組み
basis
合わ
of
せと
base
いう
theory.
デジタルのものに変換する基礎理論が確立されたのです。
So I'm guessing that this is how the game is gonna start, and this is how Maho is gonna be important. Because, well, I'm thinking that Dr. Leskinen is creating the time leap machine, and Okabe is gonna want to fucking stop that. Is the other guy in the background? I'm used to Japanese names, choosing either English or Japanese audio and sticking with it. Oh, okay, so that's because, like, she's interpreting for him at this conference. So, to highlight that, they have, like, the dude speaking English underneath, which I commented on earlier is, like, a nice little touch.
Ms. Makise published her
これ
research
が
in several journals.
サイエンス誌に掲載された彼女の論文です。
And now, based on her theory,
そして現
our
在
team has developed a
私
system
た
for
ちの
storing
チー
human
ムは
memories as digital
その
data.
理論をもとに人間の記憶をデジタルデータとして取得するシステムを開発しています。
A wave of whispers swept across the theater.
In other words,
それはすなわち
this system allows human memories
人間
to
の
be
記
stored
憶を
and
コン
accessed
ピュー
on
ターに保
computers.
存しそれを活用するシステムということになります。
Okay, interesting. The whispers turn into a low roar. I see. So even after her death, Kurisu's research was being carried on. Of course, maybe it was natural that it would be. That was the basic theory for time leaping, which I had proved myself, even if I could never prove it to anyone else in the Alpha world line. Oh, no. Okay, he's supposed to be speaking English, although he might be Russian. I got confused as to what you meant, 100th Assassin, I'm sorry. My memories had been turned into data and stored in a computer. There was no doubt about that. And what Dr. Leskinen was talking about right now was the basic technology required for that process.
At present, we are
現
attempting
在
to apply this
私
research
たち
to
が
two
行
major
っている
projects.
プロジェクト
The
は
first is
主
medical
に
treatment.
2つです。1つは医療分野への応用です。
Fair, I mean, that would be really good for people with, like, Alzheimer's or whatever. The slide on the projector changed.
For this application, we've
こち
been
らは
cooperating with the
精神生理学研究所と
Physiological Psychology
共同で行っているプロジェクトです。
So back to Sabaton, they are a Swedish heavy metal band who does songs about real-life battles and things that happened during them, like the Christmas Truce of 1914, which just hits my heart. Oh yeah, that's a really heartwarming story. I mean, ish, they did kind of go back to killing each other afterwards, but you know. Peace for a day. And I think some of the soldiers actually, like, refused to, like, keep fighting after that because they kind of were like, oh yeah, that dude on the other side also has, like, a family and has friends and is actually kind of cool. Like, they kind of realized, like, oh yeah, we're killing, like, actual human people, just like us. Cool. Which is probably why that kind of stuff doesn't really happen anymore.
By passing data from a computer
コ
to
ン
the
ピューターに
parahippocampal
保存
cells,
した記憶デ
we
ータ
can
を
rewrite memories
海馬
to
妨
the
害
original
を
brain.
通して再び元の脳に書き戻すというもので
Incredible!
Someone who looked like a grad student in the front row shouted. Dr. Leskinen didn't seem particularly put off by the interruption. Maho continued her interpretation.
You don't believe it? I know how you feel.
信じがたい
I'd be thinking
で
the
す
same
か。
thing if I were you.
その気持ちは理解できます。私も皆さんの立場であればそう言ったでしょう。
But let me just ask you.
しかし
Can you imagine
この
He
研
sounds
究に私たち
vaguely
は
like-
手応えを感じています。
It
これが実用化できればどんなに素晴らしいことでしょう。
So, at the beginning of that sentence, this one here, we're gonna have to move forward, but it sounded like he sounds like a TTS, and I think that what happened is they sped up his voice, so that this way it would end, like, a little bit earlier than Maho's dialogue, because that's how, like, real-life interpretation sounds. And it was made for a Japanese audience, so they wouldn't pick up on that it sounds weird.
We could treat memory loss in the
例えば
elderly or
老化による記憶障害
that currently have
あと
mature.
はアルツハイマーなど
Yeah,
そう
there
し
we
た
go.
ものへの対処療法が期待できます。
Symptomatic therapy. Now this is one that actually, like, yeah, I would like to read this. Treatment intended not to cure the cause of the disease, but to alleviate its symptoms and relieve pain. Painkillers and fever reducers are examples of symptomatic therapy. Interesting. Military generals were furious that the soldiers saw the opposition as people on Christmas. I could understand that. Because, you know, they're like, oh, we're here to fight the war! And meanwhile, the soldiers are learning, treated the opposition as people. I could kind of see that. Which is kind of sad, but such is the world.
Anyone's memories could be
患者の記憶を
backed up
データ
as
として
digital
自動
data.
的にバックアップしていくのです。
Neat. Also, I know that we hear it all the time, or at least I do, but war is all kinds of mess up. It is! It's fucked. It's bad, and I don't research it because of that. It's too fucking depressing. I think about all the people who died who did fucking, like, very little to nothing wrong. And I just kind of go like, yeah, that fucking sucks.
Even if a memory is
記
lost,
憶が失われたとしても
it's possible to
その都度
access
PC に
and
アクセスし
reinstall data in
脳
the
内
brain.
にデータを再インストールすることが可能です。
Very
We
interesting.
could halt the progress of
それ
senility
によ
and
って
dementia.
忘却の進行を食い止められるのではないか
accomplish.
私たちはそう考えています。
Which would be fucking revolutionary if this came out in, like, our world.
Eventually,
Maybe
it would
someday.
be
最
possible
終
to
的に
directly
は
and continuously
海馬妨害
access
から
data stored on
PC
the
内の
computer
記憶
to
データに
the
常時
target
アクセス
controllers.
できるようになるでしょう。
Now, of course, I'm saying this would be cool in today's world. So long as it's not, like, run by a massive corporation that can, like, see all your fucking memory data. Because then it's fucked and it's some cyberpunk bullshit.
So if the blame were to lose
そうすれば
significant functionality,
脳機能が失われた状態、例えば脳が激しく損傷したり萎縮してしまった場合などですが、
the system would essentially
そのような状態でも
whatever part of the
変わら
brain
ず
was
脳
fired.
機能を維持できます。
Think of it like an
あたか
external
も
hard drive.
外部ストレージと同じように。
Interesting. So we're turning our brains into computers. God, if that was real, I would have even more reason to quote the, "Hey kid, I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Help computer." A data storage unit that can be detached from a computer or a cell phone or other electronic device. Some examples include hard drives and flash memory. No. I forget that backspace is how you go back in this game. That is so unintuitive to me. A strange feeling gripped the hall. Part of it was shock in the feeling that they were witnessing the announcement of an incredible technology. Part of it was skepticism that a system like this could ever actually work. Part of it was revulsion at the idea of playing around with a human brain like that. It's a little fucked up. An excitement born of all these things passed from one member of the crowd to another. Dr. Leskinen raised his hand to encourage questioners.
I'm seeing some of you have questions.
どうやら
before.
2つ目のプロジェクトをお話しする前に質問を受け付けないといけないようですね。
I'll answer as many as I can. Go
で
ahead.
きる範囲でお答え
He
しま
does
す。
sound like a text to speech. Many hands were raised. I could tell that there was a wide age range of people interested. Both the young and old were raising their hands. Dr. Leskinen pointed to a questioner. This was the first question. Sampling would be required when digitizing analog memories. Does that mean any information would be lost? I mean, I know what sampling is, but let's read it anyways. The act of taking data at regular intervals. I love it when those, like, fucking encyclopedia entries are just one sentence. It's like, cool, thanks. Oh, fuck, I keep clicking! The professor nodded as he listened to the question in Japanese and began to respond in English when the speaker finished. Maybe he was able to understand Japanese, if not speak it. I can feel that, because, like, I can read French stuff. Like, I can read and understand the majority of, like, French things that I see on a day-to-day basis. But I could never have, like, a full conversation in French. The heck, YouTube chat, I'm trying to say some stuff. Oh god, is it censoring you? It hasn't done that to me in ages. I wonder what's up with that. Do they restrict you swearing in chats if you have less than 100 subscribers? Is that what it is? Because I feel like me being allowed to swear on YouTube did coincide with me reaching around 100 subscribers. Is that what it actually is? Because if so, that's fucking stupid.
Let
その質問を言い換えると、
You're talking about attempting to
オーケストラの生演奏を WAV のデータに保存する際、生演奏のすべてを完璧に記録することはできないと。
I mean, fair point.
That's certainly a concern.
確かにその懸念はあります。 現在の研究で
最
最も困難な問題の一つです。 脳内のネットワークが神経伝達物質のオンオフだけで、つまり二進数的にデータのやり取りをしているのであれば簡単な問題でした。それはデジタルデータと同じことだからです。しかし実際には伝達物質や電気信号は脳内でアナログ的に変化することが分かっています。 この問題に関しては今のところより高いサンプリングレートでデータをサンプルする方法しか手段を持っていません。音楽の話で言えば 44.1kHz よりも 48kHz、 48kHz よりも 96kHz でサンプリングするといった具合です。 それによってデジタルでありながらアナログデータに近い情報を得ようとしています。
Little by little, the mood in the room was turning to disappointment. Hoping to go to Hiroshima before August 6th to honor those who passed away after the nuke was dropped. Fair. Yeah, it's like, that's another fucked up history war thing. And, man. It's one of those things where, like, the more you think about, like, Hiroshima, and I think it was, Nagasaki as well, the more you think about that, the more just horrifying it gets. Also, why are people disappointed? They're talking about how this is real and how it works. People were beginning to wonder if this was just a pretty theory that wouldn't work in reality. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. More questions came. All of the questioners were skeptical of the professor's theory, and many of them seemed to be outright challenging him. I started to get upset. This was Dr. Leskinen's research, but it was also Kurisu's. I knew better than anyone that it worked, and the sight of so many people refusing to give it a chance infuriated me. Were these people really scientists? I tried to keep myself under control and looked back towards the podium. Was she mad? She certainly looked disappointed. Dr. Leskinen was very polite with the rude questioners, acknowledging the problems with the theory. She was very different. Her anger was starting to seep into her interpreting, too. I felt a kind of kinship with her. The question and answer session continued.
そもそもこれは医学的に無謀でしょう。デジタルデータを脳に書き戻すなんて絶対に不可能だ。正気の沙汰ではない。サイエンス誌に掲載されたあの論文も読みましたが、にわかには信じられない。
Which is worse, thinking about the bad stuff exclusively, or forgetting about those who lost their lives thanks to an unjust world? I mean, fortunately, we don't have to pick, because there's a third option. It's, remember the bad stuff, but also remember that there's a lot of good in the world, too. And there's a lot of good that you can do to kind of, like, just help out the people around you. That's something that I've kind of had to, like, tell myself recently, because, of course, you know, ever since, like, the pandemic started, you know, we've all kind of been getting barraged with all kinds of bad news. And, yeah, for a while, it did genuinely kind of make me, like, give up hope. Because, I mean, what's the fucking point? Everything just gets worse forever. But, I mean, that's only on the large scale. On the small scale, you can still make things good for yourself and for the people you care about. And so that's kind of what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on myself, focusing on those around me, and trying not to pay too much attention to all of the big world events. Of course, I still hear about them. I still like to keep up with what the hell is going on, but I try not to let it define my entire view on the world.
ましてや、筆頭著者が若干17歳の女性だったとあっては。
Oof. That was the one thing I couldn't ignore.
あなたね。
You're having an Ace Attorney moment?
あ
Her face! The two people on the stage and the entire audience all turned towards me at once. Fucking nightmare scenario, cool.
やってみもしないで何がわかるって言うんだ。最初は無理だと思われてた技術なんてこの世にいくらでもあるじゃないか。でもそれを克服した研究者がいたからこそ今があるんだろう。ただ批判するだけじゃ何も生まれない。
Hell yeah! You know, maybe I won't need the punch-a-choonie button anymore. Not only that, but there's also tons of good stuff that happens, but most news outlets want clicks, not the truth. It's true. It's true, and, like, the sad thing is, and I mean, that's kind of true of all news right now. It's like they're gonna post about the sad shit because that's what people click on. It's the same with, like TV news. It's like they're reporting the sad and dark stuff because that's what that's what people kind of tune in for. It's like you gotta wait until like the local section of the news to hear fucking anything good. The whole theater went silent, but I didn't regret standing up.
あなた
On the stage, Maho Hyajo was staring at me in shock. And as for Dr. Leskinen, I saw a flash of white teeth as our eyes met.
Awesome. It's very something.
I love the voice acting. He started to applaud. Why was he applauding? That just makes things embarrassing.
素晴らしい。彼はなかなか大したやつだ。ですって。
What the heck is that voice? Listen, this was made by a Japanese game studio for a Japanese speaking audience. I think they just kind of asked the crew, like, hey, can anyone speak English? And they had them voice act this guy. I mean, I'm assuming he doesn't really show up, like, too often. I mean, he has sprites, though, is the thing. And I did kind of write off, what's his fucking name? Mr. Braun. The TV dude. I kind of wrote off him at first, and he wound up being really important in the last game, so I mean, this guy could show up more often, but, like, it does sound like they were like, yeah, let's just find someone who can speak English in the studio to voice act this guy. Also, Dr. Nakabachi in the first game also had sprites, so, and he only showed up for, like, I think maybe like 15, 20 minutes of screen time in like a 20-hour playthrough. So, who knows? It's still a little too early for me to be speculating too much. Maho translated the professor's words for me to hear.
Nonetheless, a scientist must always remain composed.
科学者たるもの常に冷静でなければいけない。
The only time when it is
大声
possible
で怒鳴
to
って
shout
いい
is
のは
when your
実験
experiment
が
is a
成功
success
した
and you
時
say,
の
"We did it,"
We did it
and that should be enough.
それだけで十分だそうですよ。
すみません。
I lowered my head and sat down. I'd thought I was calm, but I guess I let my emotions get away from me. I hadn't grown up at all in the past 6 months. I mean, yeah, that's what being 19 feels like. Because I think, isn't Okabe like 19 or something? He's like 19. Or 18? He might be 18. Still a teenager, but technically an adult. It's, yeah, that's a weird face. If Kurisu was here, she'd make fun of me again. I could feel the rest of the audience staring at me coldly. It hurt. If I could have left, I would have wanted to, but I was too interested in hearing the rest of Dr. Leskinson's talk. Leskinen. I get it right for a bit, and then I fuck it up again. Okay. I will learn. I will learn to move.
And anyway, moving on.
それでは皆さん、そろそろ次に。
Oh, first, a round of
で
applause,
も
please, for
そ
our
の
great
前
friend.
に勇敢な彼に拍手をお願いします。
Oh, okay. Oh no, please, no. Welcome to the nightmare scenario, Okabe! Every socially anxious nerd's fucking hell.
Men like him are what
彼
drives
のような
scientific
挑
progress
戦者こそが
and up the
科学を
core
進歩させ
remarkable salaries.
あっと驚くような理論を作り上げるのです。
He may even become the third
彼なら
Einstein.
きっと第3のアインシュタインになれるかもしれませんね。
Who was the second? Wait a minute. Albert Einstein, a German Jew known as the father of modern physics. He developed many important theories, including the theory of general relativity and the theory of special relativity. Winner of the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics. Want to know something crazy? I realize we're getting closer to Superman's century anniversary. Yeah, that's wild! It's fucking wild to think that, like, some of the characters that we've, like, loved in, like, the modern day are, like, 100 years old. And they've just, like, they've persisted due to just, like, cultural osmosis, pretty much. It's similar to, like, you know, the Looney Tunes characters and, like, Mickey Mouse and that kind of stuff. It's like, some of these, like, really iconic characters are also really fucking old.
The second Einstein, of course,
ちなみに
demise rightly
第
pursued
2のアイン
assisted
シュタインはここにいるちょっと小うるさい私の助手。
Aw, that's cute!
変なこと言うのはやめてください、教授。
The audience chuckled. Sheesh.
さて、ここで私はしばらく通訳をお休みさせていただきます。これから私よりも優秀な通訳が登場します。これが私たちのチームが今最も力を入れている2つ目のプロジェクト。
Is the second interpreter gonna be Moeka? Is that why she was talking to Maho earlier?
アマデウスシステムです。
Oh! What? When she finished speaking, Maho walked to the back of the stage. At Dr. Leskinen's signal, the PC screen was displayed on the projector. And then I heard a
皆
voice.
さん、初めてお目にかかります。
Oh. The murmuring got louder than before, but it felt more uncertain than surprised. On the screen, I could see a detailed 3D model. She's a VTuber! That's the face of just getting up in the morning and not having coffee. Fuck yeah! Fully AI VTubers. My job is obsolete once again.
ちなみにこれは映画などで有名なドリンクワークススタジオに作成して
Is that supposed to be DreamWorks? I love the idea of DreamWorks fucking making medical software like this. Like crazy technological shit. And then, like, going and making the B-movie too! If you think about it, all the stuff that happened between 1938, when Superman first appeared, and now, it's crazy that he's remained relatively consistent after all these years. I mean, yeah, it's because, you know, I think it's because he's very much like, despite his origin story, he's kind of an everyman. Like, anyone can kind of see themselves in Superman in one way or another. Because at his core, like, he's basically just a guy who happens to be, like, really strong and be able to fly. And he just wants to help people out. That's relatable no matter what time period you live in. Also, I'm gonna see if this is supposed to be DreamWorks. Fictional. An American CG movie production company. That has to be DreamWorks. That's... Oh, fuck yeah. This is the software they're gonna use to make Megamind 3. And so many people say he's boring. Yeah, it's because a lot of people don't fucking get Superman. Honestly, there is a pretty decent video. I mean, not all of it is perfect, of course, but it's by Overly Sarcastic Productions, and I believe it's called Satirizing Superman. Let me see how long it is. Real quick. We're not watching this on stream, by the way. It's like it's an hour long. We're not doing that. And also, this is like a really good video. I put it on in the background sometimes whenever I'm just, yeah, Satirizing Superman, detailed diatribe. I would link it in the chat. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. Let me just, here. Save this for after the stream is done. After the stream is done, watch this. That should be right. I didn't check the link before I sent it. Yeah, okay. And I believe they actually have a follow-up. I haven't watched that one as much, but it's about collateral damage in, like, Superman and superhero stories. Yeah, and that one's also an hour long, so if you want to kill, like, 2.5 hours listening to a couple of people, like, dissect Superman and why he's interesting, what works about his character, what doesn't, highly recommend that. I highly recommend all of the detailed diatribes on Overly Sarcastic Productions. They are all so good. They are perfect music to have in the background while you're working on something. Like, not music, just like noise. Like, I'll put on a detailed diatribe in the background, like while I'm at the gym on the elliptical, because I need something to distract myself from the fact that my toes are going numb. But anyways, let's continue. Maho Hyajo chimed in from the back of the stage.
声については、私のボイスサンプルをデータベースにして、日本の山名が作ってくれました。
Oh, so you're also like a Vocaloid. They are what you need when you need 20 minutes of sound, it's true. An instrument maker that was founded in the 19th century. In the 2000s, they began to develop and sell artificial voice software and DTM, desktop music software, for PCs. I know what the fuck that artificial voice software is. Going ape shit, want to talk about Synth V now, but no, we can't! We've already been held up long enough on the DrinkWorks thing. And talking about Superman. This was CG? It sure looked real to me. The professor said something into the laptop's microphone. And then the 3D model of Maho Hyajo on the screen opened its mouth.
私はヒヤジョウマホです。正確に言うなら、78時間22分前のヒヤジョウマホから派生した存在ということになります。
If you listen carefully, you might be able to hear something slightly off. But it sounded far more human than any artificial voice I'd ever heard. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that engine noise. Also, this is basically just AI voices.
先ほどから皆さんの質問を聞かせていただいていました。教授はどうして私を早く紹介しないのかと とてももどかしく思っていましたよ。以前から感じていましたが、どうも教授は人が悪いようですね。まったくだわ。
The Maho Hyajo on the screen spoke with a slightly irritated expression, and the Maho Hyajo by the wall nodded in agreement. Dr. Leskinen simply smiled. What was going on here? What part of this was their biggest project? The rest of the audience didn't seem to have any more of a clue than I did.
皆さんの多くは疑問に思っています。
Agreeing with yourself, SMH my head.
人間の記憶をデータとして取り出したり、それを保存したり、さらにはそのデータを活用したり、そんなことが本当に可能なのかと。それでは私は一体何でしょうか。私は
Fair point.
78時間23分前に冷や城マホの
For a split second, I have been so poisoned by the internet, I thought it was gonna cut off at I am based. Be me, AI, 2 days old, go up on stage at scientific conference, say I am based, don't elaborate, leave. What did she just say? The professor said something else in rapid English and asked the Maho on the screen to translate it. But she, if she was the right word, hesitated and went silent. I looked at the real Maho and she was responding exactly the same way. Don't really like OSP because the way they talk with that kind of sense of superiority, you know what I mean? See, I don't really get that. Like, all I get is that they're just, like, really, really fucking passionate about what they're talking about. I never really feel talked down to whenever I listen to their videos. Although I can understand how it would come across that way.
教授、今のは。教授、今の発言はセクシャルハラスメントとして大学に訴えてもいいでしょうか。
Oh, Christ. Dr. Leskinen laughed cheerfully and responded to her. The conversation was in quick English, and over half the audience couldn't understand it. The real Maho sighed and took back the microphone.
教授はですね、私に対して、いえ、私の記憶で動作しているこのアマデウスに対して質問に答えてごらんと言いました。いつ頃までパパとお風呂に入っていたかとか、
Oof.
初恋はいつだったかとか、何でも答えられるだろうと。ああ、もうそれ以上通訳しなくていいわ。恥ずかしいからやめてくれないかしら。私はそういう質問には一切答えないわよ。
The professor said something else, and the Maho on the screen groaned and turned away.
クレジットカードの番号なんてもっと言えません。あと、1週間前に着ていたパジャマの色なんて覚えてるわけないです。
What was this? It was so natural I couldn't tell at first, but this was something unbelievable, wasn't it? Imagine using new technology in the creepiest way possible on screen for its debut! Yeah, sir! Like, you were just saying to Okabe, like, oh, a scientist should always be professional and level-headed. And now you're doing this shit! You fucking hypocrite! It felt very different than a typical AI, I could tell that much. It wasn't answering the questions it was given? And because they were embarrassing? Was it programmed to respond like that to certain questions for the purposes of this demonstration? It was possible that's all it was, but... no, don't skip. Don't fucking skip. If that conversation wasn't programmed in advance. The rest of the crowd seemed to reach the same conclusion I did, and the whispers started to turn into surprised murmur.
ねえ、ちょっと。いい加減このいたずらな子供を何とかしてくれないかしら。何をしたいのか理解はできるけど、とにかく恥ずかしいわ。
The copy of Maho was complaining to the original. It felt like I was watching a pair of twin sisters talking.
言い たずらな子供ではなく、レスキネン教授が面白がってなかなか説明してくれないので、代わりに私がお話しします。
Maho walked back to the professor.
皆さん、もうお分かりかと思いますが、
This AI is so new and unique and totally not a pre-recorded video.
アマデウスは自分が話していいこととそうでないこと、あるいは話したいことと話したくないことを自ら判断して喋っています。私たちはアマデウスにそういったプログラムを一切施していません。
I knew it.
彼女は与えられた私の記憶からそれを独自に判断し、自律的にそういう行動をとっているのです。
The Maho on screen suddenly took over for her.
そしてこれは先ほどの医療分野への応用とは方向性が真逆になってしまい、研究所内でもずっと議論が交わされていることですが、私は不必要な情報をいつの間にか忘れてしまうというか、記憶の引き出しから出してこられなくなるのです。皆さんと同じようにです。例えば、1週間前に着ていたパジャマの色、確かにそれを知っていたはずなのに今は思い出せません。そのような情報は生存していく上で必要がないからです。これも皆さんと同じです。このようにアマデウスは記憶のインプットやアウトプットが人間のそれと非常に近いのです。これは私たちも驚くべき結果として研究を重ねている最中で、まだ詳しくは解明されていません。
As Maho finished up, Dr. Leskinen took the microphone back. She resumed interpreting as he continued the lecture.
However, what really surprised us
さらに
was that Amadeus
私たちを
intentionally
驚かせたのは、アマデウスが意図して嘘をつくということ。
Oh!
and not as some sort of barrack
何らか
or
のトラブルや
this is
ミスでは
purposeful
なく、
behavior.
わざとそうするのです。
Lying is really just
嘘は
another method of human
人
communication.
間が他人とコミュニケーションを取る上での一つの手法です。
Amadeus examined the memories
アマデウスも
and as no
インプットされた記憶を自律的に検討し、
if it deemed
必要であれば
action necessary.
自分や他人のために平気で嘘をつきます。
I mean, I would say that, like, maybe don't teach the computer to lie to humans, but, I mean, AI already does that. Like, did you guys hear about that case of the lawyer that used an AI to write, like, it was some kind of legal document or, like, something to do with court. And it turned out that absolutely none of the stuff in the document that the AI pumped out was true. It was just kind of, because what we think of right now as AI aren't, like, actually intelligent the way that humans are. It's basically trained to predict what you would want it to say to you next, and then say that. So when you ask for information, it's just saying, like, the most reasonable thing that it can think of. And it doesn't even matter if it's true or not. Yeah, ChatGPT scrapes data that people request. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, that's very different from this.
誤解を招くような言い方はやめてください。嘘をつくのに平気なことなんてありません。私だって両親が咎めます。
I'm so sorry, Anne.
Dr. Leskinen cut off. He seemed to be hesitating. Maho didn't seem especially surprised by this. Maybe she knew the reason. But the moment passed and the professor continued. And Maho translated his words like there was nothing shocking about them at all.
This has led us to some
この
interesting
ような
conclusions.
検証を続けていくことで、最終的に私たちは
For one, we believe it's possible
ア
for
マデウス
Amadeus
に
to eventually
人
possess
間
a
と
mind
同様の
functioning
魂を
identity
宿すことができるのではないかと考えています。
Neat. I was stunned. A soul. Should one of the leading brain scientists in the world really be using a word with such vague definition? That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, bro, you're talking to scientists here. That's like philosophical shit. You're in the You're in the wrong conference hall for this.
In other words, to
これこそ
artificial intelligence.
本当の意味での人工知能ということになります。
The whole hall got very quiet. And it was sheer chaos for a while after that, as everyone tried to debate their own personal theories with Dr. Leskinen at once. Oh, I like that dress! This one in the front. That's a cute dress. I don't like open-backed clothes, though, so... Not for me, but that is a cute outfit. I like it. It was thanks to Izaki that I was able to get into the reception held after the ATF was over. They told me there was a dress code, so I went all the way back to my parents' house to get a suit to change into. At first, all that effort paid off as Izaki introduced me to some of the country's top researchers. Fuck yeah. Riken, JAXA, IMS. Just a sec, it's been a while since we checked this. Okay. Institute of Materials Structure Science. A lab at the High Energy Accelerator Research Organization, KEC, located in Tsukuba, Ibaraki. It primarily works in using electron accelerators to investigate the structure and properties of matter. And then JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. The National Aerospace Agency of Japan, an independent administrative agency formed in October 2003 by uniting the Institute of Space and the Aeronautical Science and the National Aerospace Laboratory and the National Space Development Agency. It primarily does space and aeronautical research. Its headquarters is located at the Aerospace Center in Chofu, Tokyo, and it has other space centers and observatories located all throughout the country, such as Usuda in Nagano, Tsukura in Ibaraki, and Sagamihara in Tanagawa. I hope I'm pronouncing all of these correctly, by the way. I'm doing my best. It also has Japan's only 2 rocket launch pads. Great! My brain is scrambled. I was trying so hard to pronounce those Japanese words that I forgot how to speak English. How many Chunies have been punched? A shockingly low amount, Connor. Yeah, Okabe is kind of going through it. Like, to summarize what happened, this is from the timeline where, like, this is after, in the True End route. I mean, we came close to punching a Chunie earlier. Only a test punch at the start of the stream. Exactly. It was only on screen so this way I could get the text to look right, because I forgot that I had changed it for the finale of Steins Gate. But yeah, so basically this game takes place after the point where Okabe accidentally kills Kurisu back in time. Except in this timeline, he doesn't get a video from the future. Actually, wait a minute. We're playing the timeline that leads up to that video, I bet. That's fucking cool. I like that. Alright, anyways. But yeah, so this is a timeline where, Okabe, like, kills Kurisu and then has to go back to the present and has to kind of live his life. And, yeah, he's gone through trauma already. What do you mean you did not? What did I not do? I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, so he has been through some trauma. He has gotten help for it. You did not just— Did I just guess a big plot twist? I'm so fucking smart. I'm so fucking smart. I'm so fucking smart. I have the biggest brain. But yeah, so Okabe has been through trauma. He's gotten help for it because early on, like, he actually has a thing where he's like, hey, I'm having, like, really bad anxiety symptoms, so I'm gonna take an anti-anxiety pill. And I'm like, hey, actually, wait a minute. Like, in a lot of, like, movies and TV shows and games and stuff, like, whenever a character has gone through trauma and is anxious, they're just expected to, like, muscle through it. So it's very cool to see that this game is just like, yeah, no, like, he takes medication for this because it helps him function better in his day-to-day life. It's like, I like that. And I like that they are not, like, demonizing it, because so many fucking stories demonize medication for mental health, and it's like, no. You're gonna scare people out of getting the help that they need. Don't do that. Anyways, let me redo this sentence that I fucked up earlier. It also has Japan's only 2 rocket launch pads, located in Uchinura and Tanegashima in Kagoshima. As of March 2010, it employs around 1,500 people. Or am I gaslighting you? Oh fuck, you're right. Aw, shit. And there's no way for me to tell at this point. I'm gonna have to wait. This is Schrodinger's gaslight. Alright, Riken. The Institute of Physical and Chemical Research. Founded in 1917, it is Japan's only general natural sciences institute. Research at Riken covers a variety of fields, like physics, engineering, chemistry, computational science, biology, and medicine. Its base is located in Wako City, Saitama. There are also labs in Hyogo, Kanagawa, and other locations in Japan. Riken also has research centers in America, England, and other countries. Interesting. Okay. But before long, Izaki ran up to suck up to some university professor, and I was left completely abandoned. Okay, we're gonna make an actual save. I mean, I guess we have made a choice since then, so let's go back. Okay, how's this? Can't believe you got to go to a fancy party. Die in a fire, Mr. Fancy Pants. We can taunt him. Well, it's because either people think taking meds makes you weak or hate psychologists. It's true. And also, hi Scarlet, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, as much as we have destigmatized, like, parts of mental health, there are still, like, a lot of things regarding mental health that are stigmatized, and that includes, like, different disorders like schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder. Actually, I think that has a new name now, doesn't it? I might be misremembering. Anyways, but yeah, it's like there's a lot of like these disorders that have like symptoms that are still seen as like scary and a sign that they're out to kill you, and it's like, no, these are just people trying to live. These are people who have been through shit trying to live. Have some fucking respect, please. But yeah, it's like, and that's also another thing when it comes to destigmatization. It's like, yeah, we should destigmatize the idea of taking medication for mental stuff. Like, I personally, I see nothing wrong with it. It's like, if you need that to be able to live a happy life, and it's not, like, literally fucking killing you, go for it. Like, shit, dude. We're only here for so long. Should I be mean to Daru? Should I be mean to him? You know what? I'll stick with this. We'll be normal. No, we won't be. Bring me back a doggy bag. Hell no, I can't do that. Are we still loading? Are we loading? Oh, right. Okay, I have to click. You can do what you set your mind to. There is no limit but the vast blue sky. I can come get it right now if you want me to. Are you that hungry? Fine, okay, I'll get you something. But I refuse. You were just asking for food! I love that. Oh, you guys can use each other's emotes. That's cute. Alright. Uno reverse card. No, you. Alright. My own personal target, Dr. Leskinen, was surrounded by a bunch of famous scientists. Is Daru the pervert from the first game? Yes, he is. He is the pervert. It's like, he at least, you know, had more going to him than just being a pervert character, so it's like, I kind of like him, but then he says stuff that makes me go, it's like having a family member that you like, but then, you know, they start talking about, like, conspiracy theories at the dinner table, and you're like, oh, why are you like this? That's how I feel whenever Daru makes a perverted comment. It didn't feel like a mere student would be welcome. I do like Daru, but he's a bit of a weirdo. Yes, exactly. And so all I did was stand around and eat from the buffet by the wall. To be honest, I couldn't tell if the food was any good or not. Whenever my glass got empty, a smiling waiter was always around to fill it up again, and so I found myself drinking more than I intended. How is Chicken Girl so far too? Oh, Mayuri? She's doing well. Is this a VN or KN? It's a VN. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like the first game. It's kind of like the Somnium Files, where there's like a bunch of different routes, but then there's like a true end route. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the same way, so I'm pretty sure that makes it a visual novel and not a kinetic novel? Not sure though. Still a little fuzzy on the definition. My stomach was already so full it hurt. The whole place felt like it was another world.
やっぱりこういうのには向かないわ。
Huh? The exact moment I spoke, I heard a girl next to me say the exact same thing. That is something that can only fucking happen in media. Imagine accidentally saying the same thing as a stranger out loud at the same time without even knowing that they're there. That could never fucking happen in the real world. The G. For all the people who weren't here last stream, am I gonna have to play Nintendo GameTube again? Does everyone know what the J is? Or do I have to play that video again? I'll do it again, it's a good video. Admittedly, I am gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon because it is getting fucking hot in my apartment. Vesta at least seems to be enjoying it. Like, she's having a nice little nap back there. Hey, are you alive? Okay. She was sleeping so soundly, it didn't even look like she was breathing. Alright, let's continue. Vesta has AC in her fur. My cat has upgrades that even I don't have! Surprised, I looked over at her. Our eyes met. Oh, hi, Maho. What was a middle school girl doing? You know this girl! You watched her on stage for like an hour! And then a moment later, I realized it was Maho. Okay, thank God. Thank God. She was wearing the exact same outfit she'd been wearing during the lecture. A lab coat in a place like this? That's just what the old me would have done.
あなたは
Maho was clearly out of place. Why? Because she was still wearing her lab coat.
なんで白衣なんです？
I couldn't help but ask.
ちゃんとした服も持ってきたつもりだったのよ。
She was sure she had, but she hadn't. I know that feel. I know last time that I had to go and, like, visit my parents and spend time at home, I could have sworn that I had brought my inhaler with me. I didn't. It wound up not being that bad, but I was actually pretty anxious for a bit because the next day was supposed to have terrible fucking air quality. And we were supposed to be going on like a day trip and like being outside in a park. So I was like, oh fuck, oh shit. Like, am I gonna have my first ever asthma attack because of this? And no, it turned out fine. And that's why she was standing in the corner, trying not to attract attention.
あなた、昼間受付にいた人ね。
岡部倫太郎です。東京電機大学の学生で、伊崎ゼミで勉強してます。
It's so weird to see Okabe acting normal. I handed her one of the business cards that I'd thrown together after Izaki told me I needed them. She grabbed one of her own out of a stack and carelessly put it in my hands.
いいわ。無理に丁寧に話さなくても。
That was a huge help.
珍しい名前でしょ？私。
え、ああ、誰も読めないとか言ってたっけ？
I looked at the card and saw that the pronunciation of her name was written in unusually large letters. That was probably because of how people kept screwing it up. Yeah, that would get frustrating after a bit.
沖縄出身なのか？
曽祖父と曽祖母がね、移民なのよ。私はアメリカ生まれのアメリカ育ち。
ハーフにはあんまり見えないな。クォーター？
外れ。祖父、祖母、父、母、すべて日本人よ。DNA は生粋のジャパニーズ。
Interesting. Interesting how that stuff can work out. DNA. Okay, I think we know what DNA is, but we'll read it. deoxyribonucleic acid, I hope I pronounced that correctly, commonly called genes. It is structured like a double helix and consists of 4 bases: adenine, A, guanine, G, cytosine, C, and thymine, T, all of which are paired off with one another. The nature of these base pairings determines the genetic information of a creature, and the number of bases varies by species. In the case of humans, that number is 3.1 billion. Very cool, very interesting.
Hey.
I love learning! And then the conversation stopped. I am a terrible conversationalist, honestly. The old me would have gone full Chinibyo and started ranting about conspiracies and magic powers, whether the other person cared or not. But you can't really call that a conversation. Here we go. This is good because I'm gonna be using this term a lot. I mean, I already do, but here we go. Literally 8th grader's disease. This term refers to the slightly unusual actions and speech patterns commonly used by Japanese boys undergoing puberty. I mean, it's not just that. Everyone has had a Chunibyo phase, whether you've called it that or not. As a kid, I thought that I could see auras and talk to the dead. I mean, then again, that was a lot younger, I was like 10. But the point stands. Everyone's had a Chuni phase. Oh, and also, Shinibyo refers to someone who performs antisocial, misanthropic, or delusional actions, or makes statements in an attempt to make themselves seem like a grown-up. So it's also like being an edgy teenager, basically. It's being an edgy teenager with, like, a side effect of also you think you might have magic powers. It can also be used as a pejorative term towards people who left puberty a long time ago, but still say highly embarrassing things as if they were still kids. Not if you're boring like me. You still have time. You can go through your Chibio phase now. Get character development in reverse. While the speaker may think that they're really cool, from the perspective of an adult, they look ridiculous. Chinibyo can be broken down into further categories, one of which is the Evil Eye Chinibyo, which seems convinced that he has a special anime power or backstory. Better late than never! Exactly! For example, an evil eye that gives them magical abilities. Strictly speaking, Okarin falls into this category. I like that it's calling him Okarin. That's cute. I had no idea what to say to someone I'd never met before. I'd been working at becoming a real adult, even buying and studying men's magazines. But none of it really helped. I mean, yeah, that's something you gotta figure out on your own. Without anything to talk about, I looked over to Dr. Leskinen. He seemed to be giving a lecture on neurons to a bunch of scientists.
今日はすまなかったな。
何が？
いや、セミナーの途中で邪魔を。
ああ、あれね。気にすることないわ。あなたが声を上げなかったら、多分私が同じことをしていたから。許せないの、ああいう人。
いいのか、そんなこと言って。教授が言ってたじゃないか。科学者たるもの、常に冷静にって。
今のは科学者としての発言じゃないわ。だから構わないのよ。
Fair. Must have really ticked her off because she grabbed a cocktail from a passing waiter and gulped it down. Jesus. You're tiny, be careful with that! Her cheeks turned a pretty shade of pink for an instant, but no longer. She might have had a high alcohol tolerance. Okay, fair enough then.
だけど、やっぱり良くないわね。反省する。ああいう批判は、言い方こそ悪いけれど、それでも事実には違いないんだもん。私たちの研究がまだ無謀の域から出ていないと言われれば、確かにその通りよ。
そうなのか。
取り組まなくてはいけない課題が山積みだわ。さっきセミナーで話した以上にね。
I mean, I guess that's fair. You wouldn't want to talk about everything you're struggling with when you're trying to basically, like, sell an idea to people.
例えば、記憶データを元の脳に書き戻すことができても、それを脳が利用できなければ何の意味もないの。記憶があっても思い出せない状態。つまり、記憶喪失の脳と同じになってしまう。
As Maho spoke, I remembered. remembered all the lectures and theories that Kurisu had given me when she was making the time leap machine.
確か人間が記憶にアクセスしようとするときは前頭葉から側頭葉へ信号が行くんだったよな。
ええ、トップダウン記憶検索信号ね。
Alright, let's read this now. A part of the frontal lobe, a part of the cerebrum located at the front of the brain. It controls thought, will, action, movement, creativity, and more. The frontal lobe can also be further divided by location into the prefrontal cortex, motor cortex, and premotor cortex. There's a lot of ors in those few words. But yeah, and also, sometimes people have actually, like, I think the famous case is this guy who got like a railroad spike like embedded through his frontal lobe and taken out, and he could still live a normal life, except like he didn't have like, I think the thing was that he didn't have any sort of inhibitions, so he would always say exactly what was on his mind no matter what, and he became like very confrontational because of it. But I mean, you can still live even with like your frontal lobe pretty much destroyed. It's insane. It's crazy how versatile the human brain can actually be. Because from my understanding is, it's the same thing with like people with like severe epilepsy. They have a procedure that actually removes half of your brain. And your brain will actually learn to function with only half of it. Like, it will remap the neurons so that this way it can function normally. And I think the only, like, there are like a few downsides to it that I don't remember. There are some things that people who've had this procedure done, like, can't do anymore because they've had, like, half their brain removed. But it's all, like, very, very minor things that you wouldn't really notice on a day-to-day basis. It's insane. It's... I just realized that it's very egotistical of me, as a brain, living in a mech suit, to, you know, praise and gush about how interesting the human brain is. Does that count as narcissism? Anyways, top-down memory search signals. Nerve signals in the cerebrum that are sent from the temporal lobe to the frontal lobe to the temporal lobe during memory retrieval. I wish my brain worked, goddamn. And then I started to talk, remembering what Kurisu had told me about her theories as I went. When I used specialized terminology whose meanings I barely remembered, Maho would tell me what they were.
で、最後に側頭葉に記憶を書き戻す過程で、一緒にコピーした疑似パルスを前頭葉の方に送り込めば、記憶検索信号はちゃんと働くと思う。
Scary thought either way. I mean, true.
あなた、それを自分で導き出したの？
ああ、いや。
Maho looked back at the business card I'd given her.
脳科学専攻じゃないわね。ということは誰かに？それとも論文で？うん、それはないわ。まだ論文にはまとめられてなかったはず。
何かおかしいこと言ったか、俺。
そうじゃなくて、私の後輩がね、全く同じ理論を提唱していたことがあるのよ。どのスタッフもずっと懐疑的だったけど、彼女だけは絶対に証明できるって言い張っていたわ。結局、実証試験に進む前に彼女はいなくなっちゃったんだけど。
それは。
Should I tell her? Should I tell her about me and Kurisu? In this world line, there's almost no connection between me and Kurisu.
どうしたの？
I made up my mind. If I wanted to follow my dreams, I needed to act.
実はこの理論、クリスからレクチャーされた。
え？今、なんて？
マキセ・クリスが教えてくれたんだよ。
クリスがあなたに？いつ？どうして？
彼女がこっちに留学してた時だ。友達になってこういう話をよくした。
Of course, that was a lie. Kurisu and I became friends in the Alpha World line, not this one. But a small lie like this was probably okay. I feel like this is gonna snowball, isn't it?
そうだったの。あのクリスが。ありがとう。感謝するわ。
Her words surprised me. That was the one thing I didn't expect to hear.
何が？
彼女と友達になってくれてよ。日本に来てたった一人で勉強していてもきっとつまらなかったと思うから。
口喧嘩ばっかりだったけどな。
あの子らしいわね。絶対に負けを認めなかったでしょう。
ああ、へりくつばっかりこねていた。ロボトミー手術してあんたの前頭葉を書き出してやるぞとかよく言われたし。
Because as discussed, you can't live without that. Lobotomy, a method of treating mental illness by performing surgery on the brain. A small hole is opened in the skull and a long knife is used to remove the frontal lobe. In some cases, this is sufficient to cure the illness, and the inventor was even given the Nobel Prize for his work. However, due to the serious psychological side effects and damage to the personality caused by the loss of the frontal lobe, lobotomies were banned worldwide in the 1970s. Yeah, a little fucked up. It's weird to think about how, you know, we associate lobotomies with, like, you know, really old, like, you know, medical history, that kind of thing. We associate it with, like, you know, the 1940s, 1950s, but, like, there are people who got lobotomies who are still alive today. It's wild how recently we were doing shit like that. Just, man.
まさかそんなこと。クリスなら言いそうね。
だろ？ちゃんと後輩の教育をしておいてほしかった。
その点に関しては認めるわ。陳謝します。
Oh. Oh, you're grieving her just like we are, huh? She smiled, or so I thought. And then all of a sudden she started to cry.
どうした？
I didn't have any better ideas, so I grabbed my handkerchief. She didn't seem to know why she was crying herself. And neither did I. Had I said something during the conversation that set her off?
大丈夫か？
I mean, that can happen when you're
ごめ
grieving.
んなさい。
She didn't take my handkerchief. Instead, she took a tissue out of her pocket and wiped her eyes.
ユカナル大佐のアインシュタイン。
え？
Hi! Sir? I turned around and saw Dr. Leskinen smiling and quickly striding towards me. He grabbed my hand as he got closer. The handshake was incredibly forceful. And his hands were as big as a bear's paws. No, not just his hands. Staying in front of me, he looked even bigger than he had during the lecture. I'm pretty tall, but he was at least a head taller than me. So he's like, what, 6'5", 6'7" then?
教授、俺、その...
Uh-oh. It was all so sudden that I couldn't even think of an introduction. And wait, did he just speak in Japanese?
しかし、私の助手を泣かせてしまったのは見過ごせないね。
I like how, even though, like, he's definitely being voiced by, like, a Japanese person, I can tell that there is, like, that accent to it. Like, he sounds like he would be, like, a native English speaker speaking Japanese. That's really cool.
いや、これは...
違います、教授。私が勝手に。彼は関係ないですから。
Maho and I both denied it as much as we could. But I didn't know why Maho was crying, so I couldn't come up with any excuses. I just started to panic even more. What a mood.
つまりその
クリスです。彼とクリスの話をしていたらいろいろ感情が溢れてしまって。
クリス？君はクリスの友人？
それははい。
岡部倫太郎さん、学生だそうです。
Maho introduced me. Dr. Leskinen had a gentle expression on his face as he gave me a slow hug. I felt like I was going to suffocate in his massive arms. Somehow I could tell that it was his way of remembering Kurisu.
そうですか。そういうことなら、魔法。
はい？
ミスター・オカーベに合わせてあげたらどうかな、彼女。
Huh?
まさか。
What do you mean introduce her?
アマデウスを。
ここで彼に出会った偶然、
Okay.
その幸運を大切にしたいじゃないか。日本にいる
I love you using that
彼に
emoji
テスタ
life.
ーになってもらってもいいよ。
It feels like you're sitting in a theater, like, and you know the big plot twist is coming, so you just kind of like you're like crouching down with your hands up. I love it much more than the eyes emote. You know what? Fair. It does give off a much better vibe. The eyes emote could mean anything, which I guess is kind of to its benefit, but at the same time, you know, that one has so much more personality to it.
本気ですか？部外者なのにそんないきなり。
クリスの友人ならば部外者ではない。そうだろう？
ですが。
What were they talking about? I had no idea, but this was my chance to build a relationship with Dr. Leskinen. I didn't want to blow it.
俺ぜひお手伝いしたいです。
ナイス。
Nice! He patted me on the shoulders and smiled. It was an innocent smile, like a child's.
じゃあ詳細は魔法に聞いてよろしく。
Cool, thanks. Another scientist was calling him, so he wandered away. Maho was shaking her head in disbelief.
アマデウスに合わせるとかテスターとか一体何の話なんだ？
コンベンションでやったデモンストレーション。アマデウスは私の記憶を使っていたんだけれど、アマデウスのデータとしてもう一人分研究者の記憶が保存してあるのよ。
Oh fuck, it's Kurisu, isn't it? They made an AI of Kurisu. Another researcher's memories. What did that mean? When I finally figured it out from Dr. Leskinen and Maho's conversation, my heart started pounding.
まさかあいつなのか？
そう。アマデウスの中にはマキセ・クリスの記憶が保存されているわ。8ヶ月前のクリスだけれどね。
Damn. Alright, well this seems like a good place to leave off on. Let me just save real quick, and just let me double check. Okay, yes. I've saved. And now we can exit the game. Alright, and let's go to the just chatting screen, and I can move this. Oh god, that's not how I move that down. That's not how I move that down at all. Okay. So, very fucking interesting. Very interesting start. This is definitely not what I was expecting the game to be. Like, I wasn't expecting it to have such a focus on artificial intelligence, but I guess, you know, when it comes to, like, speculative technology, the two most popular ones are time travel and artificial intelligence. So, you know, I understand it. Next game, it's gonna be about teleportation. But yeah, this is really cool. I'm really liking Maho as a character so far. She has a bit of that, like, same, like, kind of Spitfire energy that Kurisu did, but a little more low-key. Like, she definitely feels like her own person. She doesn't feel like she's just there to be Kurisu too, which she very much could have been. One more thing, Nova. I read that in in Gianni's fucking Columbo voice. Or super soldiers. I mean, don't they already have that in the first game? Isn't it like, yo, World War III is happening, and CERN has, like, their agents killing everybody? Shit like that. But yeah, I was not expecting Kurisu to come back in AI form. Although, I guess, you know what? When I was actually, like, looking up artwork for me to use in my schedule for the week, as well as trying to find, like, the logo for the game so I could make my thumbnail, I did see a screen cap, and it was a screen with Kurisu's face on it. And for a moment, I was like, oh, are they gonna bring her back? Like, is it gonna be an alter ego situation? Don't follow the series, so I wouldn't have known. Fair. I thought, is this gonna be like an alter ego from the first Danganronpa game situation, where it's like, this character dies, but it turns out there's an AI that's, like, made in their image that can replace them. But I was like, you know what, nah, I'm not gonna, like, think about that too hard just yet, because I'm supposed to be trying to go into this with no spoilers, but, I mean, that does seem like it was, like, an official piece of art, so, I mean, I guess I was just meant to know it. I didn't. This is what's fun about trying to go into games as blind as possible. You can have moments like this, where you just, you realize a plot twist that really should not have been a plot twist. About Superman, I don't think there's a wrong take on Superman. I mean, he's going to be 100 years old and has multiple versions. Like in one he's Amish, and in other he's a German officer. Which, fair, it's kind of like Spider-Man, but it's like there are some, like, core tenets of his personality that, I mean, I could definitely see, like, wanting to keep around for the sake of his character. It's kind of like with the multiple incarnations of Spider-Man. A lot of them are still kind of, like, they've still got the great power, great responsibility mindset. No matter, like, what character they are. Like, whether it's, you know, it's Gwen Stacy as Spider-Man, it's Mary Jane as Spider-Man, it's Miguel O'Hara as Spider-Man, it's fucking Ben Reilly as Spider-Man, that kind of thing. It's at least better than the Ruby Justice League version. Fair, I didn't even know that fucking existed. I know nothing about Ruby, and honestly, I don't think I ever will know more about Ruby, because I've heard too much about how the story goes really downhill in the later seasons, and it's like, I don't want to start watching something cool, and then, like, know that I'm in for disappointment down the road when it gets bad. But, yeah. Bye, Scarlet, have a good night. Heck, I went AFK. Yeah, so, we got to the point where, it revealed the Kurisu, AI. Kind of. Like, they revealed that it existed. And, yeah, that was a good point to leave off on, so, yeah, I think I'm going to walk down to the grocery store a few blocks away, pick myself up some mini pizzas, because I'm hungry. They basically made it so whenever Superman goes into the shade, he loses his powers. Oh, great. Gotta watch that back. Travel safe. Thanks, life! And, I guess I'm gonna get into my usual end of stream stuff. I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention, but I don't remember it now. This is what happens when you get shit brain. So yeah, so let's go into the usual end of stream stuff. If you're new around here and you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified whenever I go live with the next part of this little story. And also follow me on Twitter, and very soon, also on Tumblr, at Cipher Novella, because actually that was something I was working on today. I'm getting the Tumblr blog set up. It's still not perfect. Very, very much a work in progress. But I at least have, like, my avatar, I have my banner image, I have, you know, I've got the account set up. It's just stuff like, you know, an FAQ, fixing up the theme so it looks good on desktop, which technically I don't need to do because I feel like the majority of people are looking at Tumblr on mobile, but for those of you who do use desktop for your social media needs every now and again, you know, it's nice to make it look nice. So that's what I'm trying to do. It'll probably be, probably a few days until I get it done. Because I've got a bunch of other stuff that I want to take care of too. I've got a bunch of, like, side projects and shit. But know that the Tumblr is coming, because with Elon Musk's bullshit, I'm I'm not confident in Twitter's lifespan. And I'm not risking, like, losing a bunch of contact with a lot of you guys because of it if I get blindsided by it. So, yeah, we're working on this now. Just getting it set up, getting it ready. I've even got a few, posts. Because I figure one of the upsides of a Tumblr is that I can run a queue. So, I can actually, like, I can find funny memes in different tags and then set them in a queue so this way they post every day around the time that I end stream. So then this way it's like, even if you guys are new to Tumblr, you at least get, like, a little taste of it by looking at my blog. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on stream-wise. Of course, like I said, I've still got job hunting, I've still got writing, I've still got chores, I've still got, like, I've got to keep up social life stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I have other chores that I want to do. And I've also, not chores, other hobbies that I want to work on. And I also need downtime so I can actually rest. So this way I can do cool stuff and keep up with everything. It's really more just keeping up with everything. But that's that. So I'm not saying that it's going to be done, like, even, like, by Thursday, by next stream. But it will eventually be up. And following my Twitter or my Tumblr will allow you to be notified whenever I go live and maybe even, like, see some funny stuff in my life. I know Vesta's gonna have a tag on the Tumblr. She's gonna have her own special tag where I post funny pictures of her on a semi-regular basis. So if you want to see pictures of my cat, there you go. Ah, excuse me. Jeez. Took a sip of water and my body did not like it. So anyways, I have dawdled long enough, and I am fucking sweating. So I'm gonna tell you all, you know, have a good time. See you next time, Nova, and remember there's always good as well as bad. Exactly. Always remember that there is good in this world. You gotta find it. You gotta dig for it a little bit more than the bad, but it is there, hidden under the dirt. Anyways, good night. I'll see you all on Thursday, 6 p.m. Because, yeah, it's working out best if I do 6 p.m. Anyway, bye!